Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week, and halfway through we stop for a segment called Questions, Coffee, and Cars, and we spun it off. We're at a nice round number, Andrea, 160. How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather the questions, the post is deleted, and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
So we're not in our usual mobile studio. It's in getting serviced, just this annual service. It didn't break down.
Nope.
And last questions, we asked you to guess what car we were in.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of blew it a little bit because it says right there, Lexus.
Yeah.
And maybe you can see Andrea's door handle over there.
Yeah.
So it's a Lexus. What are we in?
We're in a Lexus RX 350h hybrid. So stay tuned for that review. And we have the new F Sport design model. So it's F Sport design, but not the F Sport
Price.
suspension. And not as expensive.
Oh, and by the way, make sure you tune in to the videos next week and the next few weeks. We're giving away a set of Nitto tires. These are high-performance all-weather tires to an American winner and a Canadian winner.
Yep.
Okay? So
Both.
hosers get a set and Americans get a set.
How about that?
And we're not booing anthems or
No.
anything. We're just giving them away.
We're not booing anybody.
So make sure you tune in over the next few weeks because Nitto tires could be yours. All right.
And who doesn't need a new set of tires?
These are high performance all-weather tires, and we'll tell you
Great.
all about it. All right.
And by the way, we put them on the GTI.
Oh, they're good.
They look good.
You ready? Are you ready?
Ready.
Your questions from Instagram.
Small economy cars are rapidly disappearing. Gone are the Yaris, Rio, Fiesta, and Fit. What happened to this segment of cars? The Honda Fit was a good automobile. With gas prices so high, you would think that there would be a market for small, fuel-efficient cars. Funny that you asked this question. We were speaking to the former vice president of Toyota, Stephen Beatty, and we asked him about this because we kind of thought the same. And he says it doesn't really work that well. First off, it has to do with emissions regulations, but by the time you add the extra features and try and get the fuel economy down on these small vehicles, it starts to go right up against the next category that is bigger, has even more features, and then you kind of wonder like, well, why would I get this little one when I can go one up?
He has explained it to us many times. It's called the short but tall. So if you think of a vehicle like Yaris or a Fit, they were short, but they were tall. It was all for regulations. There was regulations around the percentage of the size of the vehicle and how much better fuel economy you had to get. And because they had kind of maxed out what they could do with those size vehicles. So if they got rid of that regulation, I totally agree with you. I would love to have a lot of small little fun bomb around commuter cars still in the marketplace. Those cars were incredibly popular. Yaris, a Honda Fit is an amazing little car. So if they could change the regs, we might get those back. I'm suspecting if we get any little cars like that, they're going to be electric.
And didn't Stephen tell us it's Yaris like Paris?
Yes, Yaris like Paris.
Not Yaris. So that's why I said Yaris. So Stephen, if you're watching.
Did I say Yaris?
You said Yaris. And then I was like, no, I'm pretty sure Stephen says Yaris like Paris. So there you go.
And that's why we have the GR Corolla and not the GR Yaris, which is the real rally car in the WRC. They use the smallest cars.
With a $9,000 price difference between the CR-V Hybrid and gas LX all-wheel drive, have all required features in Canada, and my 800 kilometer month driving, I'm leaning towards gas. The hybrid's fuel savings would take 6 to 7 years to recover, but I'm concerned about the 1.5 liter turbo engine's reliability in Toronto's cold, long-term durability and resale value after 5 years. Given these factors, which model offers the best balance of reliability, cost effectiveness, and resale value?
All right, so a lot of people aren't aware the biggest cost of owning a vehicle is what?
Depreciation.
So what you pay for it and what you sell it for. Excuse me. Yes, the hybrid is more expensive, but 5, 7, 8 years down the road, that's going to be the one that people will want. Your gas model is kind of out of step. I do agree with you. The cost to deliver, the difference in price it was going to take a while,
Yeah.
but you're going to make that up when you sell it. Like the old 4Runner,
Yeah. Yeah.
horrible on gas.
Horrible.
4-liter V6, horrible on gas. But I told everybody, don't worry about how much you spend on gas, because when you go to sell it, you're going to get all that money back.
And interestingly enough, when we were at the new 4Runner drive event, Toyota said they're selling a ton of the previous model, the ones that they still have available. It's still a popular choice. I think when you do the spreadsheet, you do the math, for sure, you're going to come up with this 6 to 7 years to make up the gas. But it's not all about gas. It's also about resale value.
Resale's
It's
huge.
also about dependability, and you're right. The 1.5T has issues with oil dilution. Now, Honda has been trying to, obviously sort this out, but I'm still seeing things online with people who have a 2024 model where there are issues. And I do worry about you living in a colder climate.
So the base of the hybrid is the famous 2-liter 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
Which is, it's proven technology. So that engine will go the distance. The hybrid technology, we hope, is going to be as reliable as other hybrids, but I understand it's a bigger pill to swallow initially,
Yeah.
but think about overall cost of ownership. Overall cost of ownership in the long run,
Yeah.
I think, would be better with the hybrid.
And it sounds like you keep your vehicles long term. So I think you have to, as Zach said, think about it long term and the bigger picture of it all. People are going to want hybrids when you turn around to sell that vehicle. In terms of reliability, would you purchase a Lincoln or a Volvo? This is interesting. What would you do, Zach? And then I'll say what I would do.
It's case specific. Depends which Lincoln it is. Depends which Volvo it is. If I'm looking at just the metrics, I think that the Lincoln is going to actually have higher quality scores. Volvo, while I enjoy driving them, I don't love their cars personally. I think they're okay, but I've never walk away from a Volvo going, oh, I really want me one of those. Except for the wagons are pretty damn cool.
So for me, I would definitely choose Volvo over Lincoln just because I prefer the way Volvo models handle over most Lincoln models. There is an exception. I think that the Corsair plug-in hybrid is actually really good, and I also enjoyed the drive of the Nautilus hybrid, but some of the others not so much. I like Volvo vehicles. I like the refinement, the quietness of the cabin, and they just have such a broad range in their portfolio for different budgets, whether you go with the CX-40 or you want to go with something bigger like the CX-60, and then you've got the 3-row, or you go with an EV like this smaller EX-30. There's just lots.
The CX-90 that we drove when we were in Sweden, I thought they did a nice job updating that. Like I said, I like them. I just don't have this like, ugh. The only ones I have that feeling for are the wagons. But I think numerically, I think Ford and Lincoln have moved up in quality scores and Volvo has not. So just putting that out there.
Yeah, you speak to people who own Volvos.
They love them.
And they rave about it. In fact, one of our neighbors who's moved to another house, she has a Volvo XC60 and loves it. Had absolutely no issues with it. She had a Honda Odyssey before, plagued with issues. So go figure, right? She's quite happy with Volvo. Just wondering about the Mitsubishi RVR. I don't see many reviews. It's been around for years. I'm thinking it's built in Japan and is well built. Is acceleration and loudness its two biggest drawbacks? Is it a serious contender for someone looking for a lower price all-wheel drive SUV?
Well, it's a real budget car, and the thing is they've been making it forever, and yes, it's made in Japan. And what's it called in the States again?
It's called the Outlander Sport.
So in Canada, it has the traditional name, the RVR. In the US, it's the Outlander Sport. And we hear anecdotal stories from, well, if you go and read online, people like them because they're cheap to buy, cheap to run, and easy to work on, and have been proven to be very reliable. Our colleague Antoine Jobert was talking about this very car not long ago, and he says, you find me a vehicle with that cost of ownership, with that repair record, show me one that beats it.
Mitsubishi has a great warranty as well. It starts at $25,000 in Canada and goes up to $36,000 depending on your trim and of course the engine that you choose. There's a 2-liter and a 2.4 liter.
Get the 2.4.
That one has 167 horsepower. Look, it's not a powerhouse, but my first car was a Dodge Colt, and
Also a
wow,
Mitsubishi. That was a Mitsubishi.
My God, reliable. That Colt got me where I wanted it to go. It wasn't fast.
Oh no!
But it was fine for
you could get out
a
and
young woman.
You could get out and run faster. By the way, when Andrea got her big job at Pepsi years ago,
Yeah.
she had a company car, and I took over the Mitsubishi or the Dodge Colt.
He did.
And it really pained me to sell that car. I thought it was so good. So this RVR falls into the cheap and cheerful category.
Yeah.
If you can swing the 2.4 liter, get the 2.4. You won't regret it.
No.
And just buy it, drive it, enjoy it. It's under warranty for a long period of time, and people who have them, they're quite happy with them.
Going back to the Colt quickly, Zach loved that vehicle so much, but the thing for me is that I had moved on to other vehicles, and the Colt was my first vehicle, and I didn't
First
want
new car.
I didn't want to look at it again.
You didn't
I
have
was
to, Andrea.
18 years old when I got it, and Zach just loved it. He just loved it. And then there was a bidding war on our front yard for that car. I couldn't believe it, but boy, was it ever good to me.
I'd love to have met 18-year-old Andrea in her Colt. Hey, what's your name? Where are you going? Mm-hmm.
No, he didn't know me at 18, but he
21.
knew me at 21.
So corduroy seats, comfortable.
Oh, and it was a light gray. Guys, it wasn't a black interior. It was a light gray corduroy upholstery.
It was super comfy.
Oh,
You could get out and run faster than this thing. It had no power steering. I think it had power brakes, but it had no power steering.
no.
So it was, it
Oh,
was.
and then when my mom came over, and I remember one
And
time.
no air conditioning.
And no air conditioning. And we were going out. I don't know why we were in the Colt, but I sat in the back seat.
I'll tell you where we were going. I can remember.
To look at her car, a car for her?
No. We were going to the baker on Commercial Drive to order our wedding cake.
That's it.
I remember.
Oh, man. And I got a Martha Stewart designed wedding cake, by the way. Fabulous. Anyway, too many stories to
flew
tell.
in and baked it herself.
She didn't, but the cake was a
Anyway,
pale
move
yellow.
on
The
from
cake
there.
was a pale yellow. And the bakery said to me, no, we can't make a wedding cake that's pale yellow, only white. And I said, well, then I'm going to have to take my business elsewhere. And they're like, okay, we'll do it for you. Just this one time. Anyway, I was sitting in the back seat. Mom was in the front.
I was driving.
Window down. There she was with her hand out the window. I can see it today. I can see it still.
She was driving gangsta style.
Yeah, Monica, gangsta style. Right, that sounds right, Monica and gangsta style. By my observations, Volkswagen does not seem to be bringing much to the market in terms of mainstream hybrid models. Do they have any plans, upcoming models you are aware of?
Watch this space. I think that there's a lot of pressure on them. The ID4 isn't going to sell as well now. The rebates have disappeared in Canada. And there we speak to the executives whenever we get a chance. I think we're going to get a chance to speak to some executives in the next little while. They know it. They know they have to bring hybrids or plug-in hybrids to market.
We were at a round table, and this was years ago. This is when we first did, years ago. We did a first look of the Volkswagen ID Buzz, and then there was a round table at this event, and we got in front of an executive, and I asked right up, I said to him, quick question. I didn't say it like that, I don't think. Anyway, I just said, why don't you have plug-in hybrids or hybrids? You know, the market is demanding it. You've come out with electric vehicles and you have gas models, but Volkswagen is really missing the boat. And he said at that time, 2 years ago, we're aware of this. We're reviewing it. We see that the market is changing, and we're definitely going to make changes if we need to. Now, 2 years ahead, we were at the New York Auto Show, and the new Tiguan was there.
No, it was Los Angeles Auto Show.
Was it Los Angeles?
Yeah, Los Angeles.
Yeah,
it was just in November.
Yeah,
That's
you're
where
right.
we saw
You're
Patrick
right.
there.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, we asked, and I said, is it a plug-in hybrid coming for the Tiguan? Is it a hybrid? He wouldn't say, But he said it will be one of them.
He said, watch this space.
Watch this space.
The problem with plug-ins is they're expensive. Okay, when you start adding all of that technology in a bigger battery, it costs a lot of money. They did have a Jetta hybrid, which I drove. We did a rally from San Francisco down to Los Angeles. So it was 500 miles, I think, roughly, the whole thing, and it worked flawlessly. So I'm not sure that technology is being updated, but yeah, they have. Do you know how many? I'm trying to remember what the number was. How many engineers the Volkswagen has? 30,000 engineers.
Wow.
So they can do it, yeah.
The Germans can do it. I have a BMW X4, enjoy it, but the model has been discontinued. I like a fun-to-drive vehicle. It is also quiet and comfortable. I much prefer the coupe style rather than a boxy SUV. Do you have any recommendations for an X4 replacement? BMW X6 seems like a price jump, and I'm not sure if it's worth it. What are your thoughts on the Mercedes GLC Coupe, Porsche Macan, the new Audi Q5 Sportback, others? Thanks, Martin.
Oh, I think you go get a Macan if you want something that's fun and sporty, but it's really small in the back seat.
Really small.
And so I'm not sure if you're taking kids or extra people, but the Macan is hard to beat.
You know what? He
I
did
get the
say
X2.
quiet, but he did say quiet. Martin said quiet, and I'm thinking
Volvo X.
I'm actually thinking that GLC Coupe is really refined. Like Mercedes-Benz with the GLC, the new GLC, they really made it comfortable. They definitely have it tuned for comfort rather than sportiness, which actually really surprised me. Now, of course, if you get an AMG model, it's going to be more engaging, but I almost think that might be the better bet for you. I personally would choose the Macan, hands down.
Okay, the other one I'm going to throw at you, which is kind of similar to a Macan in shape, I think they copied basically the look of it, is the Genesis GV70. So that's an option as well. It doesn't have, like the X2, I was driving along actually today and I saw one, I was like, man, that thing's, I think is ugly, myself, the X2. But, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
But I would suggest, a base model Macan, the GLC Coupe, Andrea's right, smooth and quiet. Smooth and quiet.
I think it's a good one. Love your show and honesty with questions. Your favorite car show tour location so far? He's got Barcelona, Seoul, Chicago, Atlanta, and then a 3, 2, 1.
Of those ones?
Do you want to think about that? Or maybe you could choose whatever you want, but I don't know. He's put 4.
Well, let's just think of the places we've been, Andrea. We have been to Japan. I'm going to add a few. Japan.
We went to Marbella.
Marbella, the south of Spain. We went to Barcelona. We went to France, to the south of France.
Yeah.
That was pretty swish. We went to Seoul. We've been to Chicago. We've been to Atlanta. I've been everywhere, man. I know which one I'm going to say of the ones I listed, of the places.
Oh God,
it's easy,
really
Andrea.
Tough.
It's easy.
It's a tough one. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Tokyo.
Japan.
Wow. I was close to saying Barcelona because I have to say I really enjoyed Barcelona.
That was fun. The food was good.
But Tokyo is on another level. Like, it's just so exciting there. Oh gosh, it's fabulous, and the weather was amazing for us when we were there in October.
We love Chicago. We did go off about how much we love Chicago, and you know what? I just cannot stand when people say, "How can you say you like Chicago? We've got this trade war with the U.S." It's like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Chicago is still a great city. I don't care what Donald Trump says. It is still a great city. And when all of this nonsense passes, and it will, go visit Chicago. It's a great city.
It's a great city.
I suggest you go when the weather's warmer.
Food is great. People are wonderful. City is walkable.
It's
so
beautiful
fun.
downtown, and just go when it's warmer.
Will there be any further updates to the small Highlander before an all-new design? It's still lacking features versus the Koreans and other rivals.
There's rumor it's going to go away. I haven't heard if it's going to get replaced, but I think wouldn't it be better if they just made more Grand Highlanders available? Because that's what people want.
They do want them, but here's something interesting.
I want to know what you found, Andrea.
So I did
Andrea
a little digging.
Andrea did a little digging. What did you find?
So Toyota Cleveland Heights, a dealership in the U.S., is reporting that a new Highlander is on the way for 2026, and it could be offered only as a hybrid.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
2.5-liter hybrid, but also there are reports that they're going to offer a more powerful hybrid.
Max.
And they're saying maybe that 2.4-liter Turbo 4. And then they're also going to come up with like an off-road type vehicle. So
Why did they
it
do
probably
that?
just, you know why? I'll tell you why.
Because people like the look. This is the thing is, we've seen this massive trend in the mid-size
Yep.
SUV, even the compact SUV. They give it this off-roady, all-terrain tires, smaller wheels, you know, safari colors and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, how many people are going to go and do that on the way to the mall and taking their kids to school? That many.
Nobody is, but when we were at a Nissan Drive event for the Murano
Same
and
thing,
the
yeah.
Armada.
I knew what you meant.
You know what I meant. They said, like, Pathfinder, there's rumors the Rogue's going to come out with a rugged design vehicle. They said this is what people are drawn to. This is what they want. They don't care if it's capable. It's all about the looks. Look at us sitting in this RX 350 hybrid. What has Lexus added to this model? F-Sport design. F-Sport by design,
Yeah, but
not
Andrea,
a sport-tuned suspension.
That has been going on forever, where they make the vehicle look sportier, or they put the
For
low-profile
sure.
tires and black trim and all that kind of stuff. That I kind of get it because it makes it look a little sportier. But the off-road thing, I get it. People love it. Like, you know what they're doing now? We have an old Cayenne. They're taking those first-generation Cayennes.
Yeah.
They're lifting them up. They're putting 2 or 3 inch lifts in them. They're putting 18-inch wheels, all-terrain tires. They're putting a bush bar in the front with halogen lamps, and they do that whole.
Do you like
they
the
do
look
that
of
whole
that?
thing.
I don't like the look of it for the Cayenne.
I get it if you're going to go off road, but a lot of
Yeah.
people are just driving around in them because they like the look.
But I like the Pathfinder the way it looks with its rugged design. I can't remember the name of that rugged model right now off the
It's
top
the
of my
Zach
head.
Spencer model, the rugged one.
But you,
That's the one, Andrea. That's the one
That's
you like.
it.
That's me and
That's
my.
it.
Wait a second, me and my pledge. Look at me. I've gone all.
You're rugged.
I've gone all lumberjack.
he is rugged today.
I have gone rugged today. I could grow a little facial hair, and then I've gone lumberjack. I've got my axe in the back.
Don't
and
you
my
remember that
and my
Pathfinder
chainsaw.
model? It was written everywhere in the vehicle.
Oh, Rock Creek.
Rock Creek. Everywhere it was written. How did I even forget Rock Creek? I remember when we got in it. You'll never forget Rock Creek.
Yeah, they stuck it everywhere. It was, in my opinion, a bit tacky myself.
Anyway, it's a popular choice in the Pathfinder. Why can't I talk? It's a popular choice in the Pathfinder lineup, Nissan tells us.
So you know what I'm going to do now with my plaid shirt? I'm going to go and hunt me some tacos. You ready, Andrea? Let's go. It's time for lunch. All right, that's it. We're all out. How do you get a
It's some
question in?
taco. Are they vegan tacos,
No,
Zach?
they are not.
Well, you get a question in by following along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show. Thanks for watching.
See you next time. Bye-bye.